Right now, 4 people are in custody after yet another high-speed police chase.
Also, it is officially tax season, why you should file your taxes sooner rather than later.
And tracking some of the smaller promises the governor made last week during his State of the State address. You're watching News 3 now at 5. And we begin tonight with some breaking news. A Wisconsin judge just set an April hearing for one of the 2 Waukesha women who stabbed a classmate in the 2014 Slender Man attack. 21-year-old Morgan Geyser is asking to be released from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. A hearing was held today after her attorney filed a petition for her conditional release. Geyser and Anissa Wire were 12 years old when they stabbed a 12-year-old classmate to please the fictional character Slender Man. The victim survived. Geyser was sentenced to 40 years of state mental health supervision. Police pursuits continue to be a topic of discussion in the Madison area after a slew of pursuits in Dane County this month.
Several took place this weekend alone. Our Jalen Banks joins us now from the scene of one of those pursuits. Jalen?
Eric and Susan, I'm at the scene where one of the pursuits took place, and it ended right here at Dean East Clinic, right off of Stoughton Road. Around noon yesterday, Dane County Sheriff's deputies tried to pull over the vehicle when they say the driver was driving, quote, erratically. The car would eventually get onto the belt line where it would reach speeds up to 90 miles per hour. It got off the belt line on the Stoughton Road, and the pursuit would eventually end when the vehicle blew out both of its tires while hopping curbs. All 4 suspects in the car were arrested. Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett says factors such as suspected crime, time of day, traffic flow and patterns, and location all play a part in when to initiate a pursuit.
At any point, the deputy that is in the pursuit can end the pursuit, or the supervisor who is closely monitoring the pursuit can end it as well for safety purposes.
Dane County Sheriff's Office was assisted by State Patrol, Madison, Monona, and McFarland Police. Tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Sheriff Barrett on this particular pursuit. Reporting in Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. Let's get a check on the forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti is on the weather patty. We saw a small glimpse of the sun today, Gary. It was good to see.
Can you hear me now?
There we
We're
go.
having some issues there. Okay, so it looks like the clouds are trying to fill in. We had a little bit of clearing earlier, but you can see the clouds starting to roll in from the north. There's even a little band of some light rain and snow showers that run from eastern portions of upper Michigan through areas just north of La Crosse. 6-hour future track radar takes that right through Madison. So, you know, if you see something, it'll be very brief. It'll be either rain or snow showers. Fog right now, not too much of an issue, although it is down, visibility is down to about 2.5 miles in Monroe. Rest of southern Wisconsin, not too bad, but we will see more fog and some drizzle overnight. Last night, temperatures dropped into the upper 20s, but temperatures right now are mainly in the middle 30s. Here in Madison, we're right around 34 degrees. It's 36 in Middleton and 32 in Verona. Otherwise, look for nearly steady temperatures in the middle 30s this evening as fog starts to develop. Later on, I'll take a look at a much milder forecast as we head through the rest of the week.
All right, Gary, thank you. Today is the first day that you can file your state and federal income taxes for 2023, and experts say you should do it sooner rather than later.
It's a way to avoid being taken advantage of by fraudsters. Last year, the IRS reported more than $5.5 billion in tax fraud cases. Our Kyle Pozorski shares some tips for you to know this tax season. Kyle?
File early and e-file. Those are the 2 biggest tips to not only get any possible return back fast, but also, like you said, to avoid becoming a victim to fraud. So how do you do this? Well, the first step is easy. Once you have all your paperwork, start the process. Then to e-file, there is good news. And that's because this year, the State Department of Revenue is rolling out a new electronic filing system available for free for qualifying taxpayers. It was earlier today when I spoke with Wisconsin Secretary of the Department of Revenue. He tells me that beyond avoiding any scams, getting your refund back is a good incentive to move quickly.
You know, if you file the last week, you know, obviously we have such a glut that it takes us just a little bit longer. We still can turn them around relatively quickly, but you certainly, anybody has a refund coming, there, you know, it's a big incentive to file early to get that refund.
He also tells me for those who expect to pay taxes, there's good reason to file early, and that's because then you can see how much you owe way ahead of when you'll actually need to pay, so you'll be more prepared to do so when the time comes. We should also mention the IRS also has a free file option for people with an adjusted gross income of $79,000 or less. And the deadline for filing for most people is April 15th. And for those who miss the deadline, you'll likely face a hefty penalty unless they ask for an extension. All the more reason to move quick this tax season.
All right, Kyle, thank you. The next leader of the Madison Metropolitan School District will be from Minnesota, Indiana, or Maryland. The school board announced the top 3 finalists for the superintendent position today.
The finalists include a Madison native, former Madison district principal, and La Follette football coach, Dr. Joe Gothard. Currently the superintendent of St. Paul Public Schools, where he won the 2024 Minnesota Superintendent of the Year. Dr. Yvonne Stokes was most recently superintendent of Hamilton Southeastern Schools near Indianapolis, one of the largest school districts in the state. And Mohammed Chaudhry was the state superintendent of schools at the Maryland State Department of Education.
Now, next Tuesday, the district says a panel of students and a separate panel of parents and caregivers will interview the 3 candidates. The public can live stream those interviews and also provide feedback. The school board will then take in all that information before selecting the superintendent, the next superintendent. Hate crimes at schools are on the rise. According to a new report from the Justice Department, the number of hate crimes at schools more than doubled from 500 in 2020 to more than 1,300 in 2022. All of the hate crimes in the U.S. in 2022, 10% of them occurred at schools, making it the 3rd most common location for hate crimes. The most common spots were on the street or in a home. The report found most offenses involve intimidation, vandalism, or simple assault, and they are mostly motivated by anti-black bias, followed by anti-Semitism and anti-LGBTQ bias.
We heard a lot from the governor's State of the State address last week. Despite some of those big initiatives, the governor made a handful of smaller promises.
Political reporter Will Keneally dug into those and joins us now with more. Will?
Yeah, well, smaller promises, that's at least in the figurative sense. One of the promises that Governor Evers laid out in his address was a plan to buy 55,000 acres of land.
This is a big deal, folks.
That deal secures a significant portion of the Pelican River forest to be set aside for conservation. It will be 67,000 acres in all, up by Rhinelander. The land will remain open to the public for activities like hunting and fishing, hiking, and skiing.
Conserving and protecting our natural resources and land continues to be a top priority for my administration. I'm also excited to announce tonight that I'm approving the largest forest conservation effort in our state's history.
The land was bought with some federal dollars that the governor announced last week and was part of a handful of conservation projects the governor announced during his address.
I'm also proud that our administration worked with the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission and the Menominee and Lakota Ray tribal nations last year on a new effort to preserve and restore wild rice in Wisconsin.
Wild rice has been a significant local commodity up north.
Wild rice has been harvested here for thousands of years, but it's threatened by the effects of changing climate and water quality.
Now the governor says he's backing that wild rice restoration project with $2 million.
Well, thank you. Democrats are responding today after House Republicans released 2 articles of impeachment against Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas yesterday. The first article charges Mayorkas with willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law. House Republicans allege in the second article that Mayorkas has breached the public trust by allegedly making false statements. The top Democrat on the committee pushed back against accusations, saying, quote, "What is glaringly missing from these articles is any real charge or even a shred of evidence." President Biden promises to respond to the drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 service members yesterday and wounded more than 40 others.
The incident was the first deadly attack on U.S. troops in the Middle East since the war in Gaza began. Skylar Henry has the story from Washington.
President Biden met with members of his national security team again on Monday as he weighs options following the deadly ambush on American troops in Jordan.
We do not seek another war. We do not seek to escalate. But we will absolutely do what is required to protect ourselves.
3 U.S. service members were killed Sunday when a drone struck a logistical support base in Jordan near the Syrian border at a time when soldiers were likely sleeping.
The names of those soldiers who lost their lives were Sergeant William Rivers, Specialist Kennedy Sanders, and Specialist Breonna Moffett. These 3 fallen heroes were deployed to Jordan in support of Operation Inherent Resolve and the international coalition working to ensure the lasting defeat of ISIS.
CBS News has learned initial reports show the enemy drone was approaching at the same time an American one was returning, meaning air defenses were temporarily disabled. The White House blames Iranian-backed rebels for carrying out the strike. While Tehran has denied any involvement, President Biden is coming under pressure from some Republicans to attack Iran directly. The president has been reluctant to take that step, fearing it could plunge the crisis-riddled Middle East into a wider conflict.
We will not tolerate continued attacks on American forces, and we will take all necessary actions to defend U.S. military men and women forward deployed. And we will do so at a time and place of our choosing.
Since the start of the Israel-Hamas war in October, U.S. military sites in Iraq and Syria have been attacked more than 160 times. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
All 3 of the soldiers who died were reservists assigned to the 926th Engineer Brigade based at Fort Moore, Georgia. They range in age from 23 to 46.
A London hospital discharged King Charles today after he underwent treatment for an enlarged prostate. In a statement, Buckingham Palace says the king will be rescheduling public engagements so that he can recover. The palace announced the planned surgery earlier this month and said the king's condition is benign. In addition, the Princess of Wales also returned home to Windsor today to continue her recovery from abdominal surgery. A spokesperson for Kensington Palace says Princess Kate Middleton is making good progress. It's not clear what the surgery was exactly for. Middleton and King Charles were in the hospital at the same time. A royal source says the king visited his daughter-in-law before his own treatment.
Well, the Super Bowl matchup now set between the defending champs Kansas City and San Francisco. Those hoping to see the big game in person in Las Vegas, well, you're going to need some serious dough. Tickets on StubHub range from $7,000 to $34,000 per seat. On Ticketmaster, they're listed for up to $55,000. And for those who cannot get there, it is much cheaper live on CBS, February 11th. And meanwhile, United and American Airlines have added several flights between Kansas City and Las Vegas with a nod to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. For example, both airlines added the flight number 1989. That's the name of a Swift album. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has 3 flights in honor of his jersey number 15. And for San Francisco fans, United added flights 1995 and 1849. 1995, the last time the Niners won the Super Bowl. 1849 is for the original California Gold Rush, where they got their nickname. Well, after the break, we'll get a complete look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
And a criminal trial is now underway for one of New York City's most infamous unsolved murders. Up next, more on the murder trial for the founding member of Run DMC.
And on Wall Street, the Dow with a strong 224-point climb to start the week. The Nasdaq up almost 173 points. The S&P adds 37. We'll be right back.
Donate blood at Stoughton Health's upcoming blood drive on February 16th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event will be hosted at our Community Health and Wellness Center. Sign up online at bloodcenter.org.
Discover new opportunities together in a new Chevy. Meet up in an award-winning Equinox. Lend a hand in the Silverado with up to 14 available camera views. Or mix it up in the Trax with an 11-inch diagonal display screen. Find the Chevy that's right for you. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Equinox models. Or get $500 cash allowance, plus current Chevy owners get an additional $1,000 cash allowance.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Have Medicare and Medicaid? iCare's dual eligible special needs plans offer an $1,800 annual allowance for eligible groceries and more. Rest easy. iCare is looking out for you and your health.
Save big on your entire kitchen upgrade at Menards. Clearview Cabinetry is flexible by design, so you can go from doors to drawers for storage that works at every stage. And the style is so easy to update. You can do it in a snap, meaning you don't have to remodel your space to make it work even better. Save big on Clearview Cabinetry and get Stroma kitchen cabinets for $3,359 now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards. They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
Try it this new year for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
The best part of the brisket, bacon, beef, and cheddar is definitely one of those things. Arby's, we have the meat.
The acid reflux felt like just the worst burning in your throat that you can imagine. It's almost like a fire in your throat. The LINX procedure was one of the best decisions I've made. It has changed my life, and the burning is gone.
Whitewater made headlines after seeing an influx of immigrants a few weeks ago. Tonight, we look at how the arrivals are adjusting to the city, what programs are in place to help people. That's coming up on News 3 Now at 6.
Tonight at 10.
Meet a local veteran giving back to others in the spirit of service.
It's a way of thanking them, but it's way more than that.
We'll learn about the unique bonding trips that help him carry out his mission and the life-changing event that drives him.
Tonight at 10.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, welcome back. A federal criminal trial is underway for one of New York City's most notorious and previously unsolved high-profile murders. 59-year-old Ronald Washington and 40-year-old Carl Jordan Jr. have both pleaded not guilty to killing Run DMC founding member Jam Master Jay back in 2002 during a dispute over a drug deal. Jam Master Jay, whose real name was Jacob Mizell, was shot to death at his studio in Hollis, Queens, shortly after allegedly acquiring 10 pounds of cocaine from a Midwest distributor. He was just 37 years old. Now, both of the suspects were from Mizell's neighborhood. The murder went unsolved for nearly 2 decades.
It'll be very interesting to see what the prosecution has. Federal prosecutors are very unwilling to bring cases that they feel, particularly in the state of New York, that are not airtight and very strong. So I think we're going to see some compelling evidence.
If convicted, Washington and Jordan would face a mandatory minimum sentence of 20 years up to life in prison. The trial for a third suspect, Jay Bryant, is scheduled for 2026.
Let's get a check on the forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is here. Gary?
Well, it's nice to see a little break from the fog and even the clouds. We had some sunshine today. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Looks like the fog and some drizzle will be back for tonight and tomorrow. Maybe even a little freezing drizzle for areas north of Madison where temperatures might be a degree or 2 closer to freezing. But even at this point, I think that'd be very localized. Then dry weather starts Wednesday and lasts pretty much through most of next week, at least through Wednesday of next week. We'll see dry weather and temperatures will be mild. I'm looking for high temperatures at or above 40 degrees beginning Wednesday and lasting through next week. So that is a good sign to melt some of that snow. Now we're watching a weak cold front to the north and west, bringing some light rain and snow showers. That will drop southeastward. According to 6-hour future track radar, you can see that kind of just moving right through Madison. Anything that happens will be brief and will be light, and not everybody will see a rain or snow shower. Fog right now, not a problem. Just a patch of a little thicker fog across Greene County down around Monroe. They're seeing visibilities about 2.5 miles from Madison right now, 8-mile visibility. Most of the upper Midwest looking pretty good. However, as you look at future track visibilities, notice by 2 a.m. Madison down to about 1.5 miles. I'm not looking for widespread dense fog, but some areas may drop below 1 mile here in Madison, maybe down to 1/4 mile, at least briefly around 6 a.m. That's when temperatures will be coolest. And of course, with temperatures above freezing today, we're melting more snow. That adds moisture to the atmosphere. So when we cool back down, you get the fog to form. But then as we head through the afternoon, again, patches of fog through the morning, and then visibility should start to improve as we move later in the afternoon. Temperatures, though, they are definitely on their way up. Average high temperature goes from 27 to 29 as we get to the end of the 10-day period. Take a look where our temperatures are. We're talking temperatures that are 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of year. And they'd be even warmer had we not had any snow on the ground. We've got to melt the snow first. Upper level winds right now from the northwest, but notice how the jet stream starts pushing to the north. This is an El Nino pattern, again, with the polar jet stream to the north and the subtropical jet stream keeping much of the moisture away from us to the south. So planning your night, look for temperatures in the mid-30s as that little band band of rain and snow showers move through. Notice temperatures nearly steady overnight, but lots of clouds and some fog as well. By early tomorrow morning, Madison drops to 33. So areas north of Madison could see a little patchy freezing drizzle. Otherwise, across Dane County, low 33 in Oregon, 35 in Pine Bluff, and 33 for the low in DeForest. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, 35 Fond du Lac, 34 in Watertown, and 35 in Janesville. For tomorrow, some fog, some drizzle, maybe a slight chance for a rain or snow shower early in the day. The high temperature up at 37. For the first one, 7 to 10 day forecast, we're in the 40s with sunshine on Wednesday, and we stay there all the way through next week. Even nighttime low temperatures just below freezing in the mid to upper 20s, but then even those rise into the 30s by the end of next week. As we check out first warn traffic, good day on the roads so far, at least last time I checked. Yeah, the Beltline's still in pretty good shape. Traffic moving between about 55 and 60 miles per hour. I-39, 90, 94, east side of Madison, no issues there. Travel times, about a 15 to 16 minute trip either way on the Beltline. 18 minutes from Sun Prairie inbound to downtown Madison. Same trip outbound will take you 18 minutes. US 12, Middleton to Sauk City, will take you 16 minutes. And the Beltline to Janesville on I-39, 90 is a 26-minute commute today. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary. Well, if you use food as a way to cope with stress, stay tuned after the break, how to recognize and avoid emotional eating.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
The highest art is beautiful, timeless, inspired by the divine. Shen Yun. Coming to Milwaukee and Madison, February 3rd through the 11th.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet this year, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Want to instantly look more attractive, years younger, and even healthier? The solution is whiter teeth. Even teeth that are just a little yellow are a problem. They rob your appearance, make you look older, and can hurt your confidence. But you love coffee and tea, maybe even wine or smoking, and all of them stain your teeth and make them yellow. It's time you discovered Power Swabs, the fast 5-minute revolutionary treatment.
The first time I tried it, I was so surprised. My husband was so excited that he wanted to run out and get it. He said, "What have you been trying?" I said, "Well, I've tried this product called Power Swab." And he said, "I can't believe how white your teeth are." So from that point on, I've been sold.
My absolute favorite thing was how easy it was. It takes literally less than 5 minutes.
Power Swabs has made a really big difference in lifting the stains and making my smile more beautiful.
Power Swabs are guaranteed to whiten your teeth up to 2 shades after the first application. And after 5-minute daily treatments for the next week, your teeth will be an average of 6 shades whiter. Plus, unlike other whitening methods, Power Swabs will whiten natural teeth and remove stains from veneers, bonding, caps, and crowns. Power Swabs are easier on your gums and cause less sensitivity.
I've used strips and trays, and they both gave me really sensitive teeth. With the Power Swabs, I've been using them for a week and nothing. I had hot coffee this morning and ice cream last night and no problems.
It's time to discover what you've been missing. Now, it's your turn to get started with Power Swabs.
I like my smile. I like my smile after finishing the Power Swabs.
This is a Power Swab smile.
This is a Power Swab smile.
This is a Power Swab smile.
Call, go online, or scan the code on your screen right now for a special offer to receive 50% off. You'll also receive the Power Swabs Stain Out Quick Stick, absolutely free. And in addition, you will also get free shipping. Order right now and take the Power Swabs 5-minute challenge. If your teeth aren't a full 2 shades whiter after your first application, simply return it and you'll get your money back.
The highest art is beautiful, timeless, inspired by the divine. Shen Yun. Coming to Milwaukee and Madison, February 3rd through the 11th.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
It is a way of coping with difficult emotions. Instead of simply satisfying hunger, emotional eating is common in the U.S.
It's linked to weight gain and obesity over time, according to a study published by the National Institutes of Health. Mandy Gaither has ways to recognize and avoid eating your feelings.
The cravings can come when you're sad or stressed. You want something salty or maybe sweet. The food can bring comfort, but also extra calories.
Emotional eating tends to be very specific. You are hungry for cookies. You are not hungry for anything that somebody would put in front of you.
Psychologist Leslie Heinberg with Cleveland Clinic says when people try to eat feelings away, it's only a temporary fix.
The problem is still there, but people might feel guilty or feel bad about how much they ate or what they ate.
Heinberg says true hunger doesn't go away. It gets worse over time. You may feel shaky or have a grumbling stomach. If you suspect emotional eating, she says to distract yourself for 20 minutes, take a shower, or go for a walk. Do any activity that won't allow you to eat.
If you're still hungry at the end of that 20 minutes, then maybe, identify a healthier snack. But for lots of people, what they find is if they can distract themselves, 20 minutes later, that craving has really passed.
And if you do indulge, Heinberg says, enjoy it. Don't just scarf it down. Eating just a small amount of the food you desire may eliminate the craving. And she says not to beat yourself up about it.
Don't try to make up for it by skipping dinner and then setting yourself to be hungry and irritable later.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now, experts say it's very helpful to have healthy snacks on hand that are easy to turn to when you do face a feeling that triggers a craving for comfort food.
Well, we're back with a final check of your First Warn forecast after a short break.
Joining a gym fashionably late this year? At Planet Fitness, we got you. Because now through January 31st, you can still join for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Plus, get free fitness training. Hurry, deal ends January 31st.
News 3 Now and Vortex presents Spirit of Service, honoring those who've made a real difference in our community.
Do you know a veteran whose actions have been a positive force in the area? If so, nominate them for the Spirit of Service Award.
Log on to channel3000.com, nominate a veteran, and tell us why they're a pillar in our community. A winner will be selected on March 11th.
Help us celebrate our hometown heroes.
The Spirit of Service Award, presented by Vortex.
I'm Megan Tim, Director of Community Health at SSM Health. You may know us as healthcare providers, but we live here too. And as good neighbors, we know our community thrives when we take care of each other. That's why SSM Health and News 3 Now are sharing the keys to health. Watch for our expert information and advice on air, online, and at fun local events. Join SSM Health and News 3 Now, and together we'll unlock a healthier community by taking time for kids.
To count down the days, but my ski trip to Cascade Mountain with my cousin each year, so much fun. We used to pretend like we were flying. Now, we really do. My dad and my uncle like that we still ski free. But Noah and I, we just have fun. See you there.
Experience the breathtaking production that leaves both audiences and critics awestruck. Les Miserables, February 14th through 18th at Overture Center. Tickets available at overture.org today.
It's the annual RV show and sale you don't want to miss at Interstate RV, February 2nd through the 4th. Great RV show pricing just up the road. Highway 51, Poinet.
Watch News 3 Now at 6 with Eric, Charlotte, Gary, and Zach. Weeknights.
Joining a gym fashionably late this year? At Planet Fitness, we got you. Because now through January 31st, you can still join for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Plus, get free fitness training. Hurry, deal ends January 31st.
Coming up tonight right here on the CBS Evening News, we're live here in Bahrain in the Middle East, home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. Tonight, we go inside the Secret Operations Center as the Vice Admiral in charge here says the U.S. Navy hasn't been operating under constant threat of attack like this since World War II. That and more headlines tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And then coming up tonight at 6, an organization in Whitewater is doing everything it can to make sure the city's newest residents feel welcome. We'll have that and more coming up in the next half hour. Well, happy birthday to Oprah. I love that purple dress, so pretty. The billionaire, cultural icon, and media mogul turns 70 today. She's one of the few celebrities everyone knows by their first name, like Madonna or Cher.
Or kind of Gary. Her talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show, ran for 25 seasons. Oh, how we miss it. But she says her role as Sophia in 1985's The Color Purple changed everything for her. And get this, just a month ago, Oprah told People magazine she does not plan to ever retire. Gary, what do you think about that?
I remember when she came to Chicago for AM Chicago. Then that became the Oprah Winfrey Show.
She is iconic and big in Chicago.
Big everywhere. I wish I was that big. No, especially when there's fog out there, you can't see me. But right now, the fog is thinned out. That's good news. Not seeing anything on radar, but 6-hour future track radar shows perhaps a little band of rain and snow showers moving on through with a cold front. Otherwise, visibility is right now down to about 2 miles in Monroe, in Greene County. Most other places, really not too bad, but that will change that. We'll see more fog and drizzle. Temperatures right now right in the middle 30s, and they'll hold pretty steady through the evening. Madison's at 34. Right now, 34 degrees in Edgerton, 34 in Stoughton. Look for temperatures to stay nearly steady in the middle 30s.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes for News 3 now at 6. The CBS Evening News is next.